Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and this is September 15th, 2021. It's Wednesday, it's 6:30, and it must be What's Happening Dracut. Folks, we're here tonight, and we're coming from our overly ostentatious studios here at Dracut Access Television on Mill Street in Dracut, Massachusetts. I'm your host, John Zimini, and I hope that this show will keep you stimulated and ready to rock and roll. We have a great show in store for you. We have a bunch of our co-hosts are here tonight, and we have a special guest coming in, and we'll have one of our co-hosts tell you about that. But to start off, we're going to go to Gordy Scott. He's one of our co-hosts tonight. How are you, Gordy?
Good. I'm feeling refreshed after the beautiful old home day, and it was good to see a lot of people down there and out, and to see you guys there. Richard obviously missed it, but he had a previous engagement, but it was good to be out. Beautiful day. We've had beautiful weather, and so it's been great.
And of course, we always have our old dependable guy, Phil Thibault. He's in the house. Phil, how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you very much. Yeah, so we have a special guest coming on, Dan Phelps, who's our new Economic Development Director. So I'm anxious to get to talk to him. I've talked to him previously, and we certainly want to get some more in-depth questions and answers with him and see what he thinks about Dracut.
Great. We'll be looking forward to that. We'll be looking forward to, and of course, our Cub reporter, the ace reporter for What's Happening Dracut, is also in the house tonight, and he has an interesting little piece tonight that we're gonna debut about masks. But how are you tonight, Richard?
I'm doing wonderful, John. You know what? Later on, when we talk about the school committee, I'm going to have to mask you a few questions. So,
mask me a few questions. That's great. Well, folks, listen. We want you to know that we are here for you. We're here to try to bring you the information that you're not going to get from regular sources, and probably some of the information you're going to get you're not going to like. And certainly we guarantee that the establishment and status quo will not like what we have to say here on any one of our given shows and how much the information we're going to give you. But we're here for you, the taxpayers, the rent payers, the voters, to get you the information that you need. You can join us by watching us on Facebook if you want, because we're live on Facebook, and on our Facebook page, What's Happening Dracut. You can also get us streaming live on Dracut Television. I did it wrong. Phil's just sitting there just waiting to pounce on me.
I know he's going to do it. I know he's going to do it.
It's one of those days, Phil. I'm a little tired. I had a rough week.
So it's Dracut, the letters TV, dracuttv.org.
There you go, and you can catch us live streaming right there. And also, we're coming to you live on Comcast Channel 8 right now. Right now, folks, we're live. So you can do it. There's many, many ways of getting us. We also invite you to send emails to us if you want at what'shappeningdracut@gmail.com. And we also have a YouTube. Tell us about the YouTube station we have.
Yeah, so we have our YouTube station is What's Happening Dracut. Just if you search for What's Happening Dracut, and you can catch our old episodes if you want to see what we talked about over the past episodes. This will be our 24th episode. So we appreciate any likes that you can give us, and become a subscriber, and you can get all the latest episodes right to your computer or laptop.
Wow, and you can get it anywhere in the world, folks. Anywhere in the world you can get us by just going on the internet, right?
We're worldwide.
A great thing, yeah. We're worldwide.
You want to watch us in Japan, Berlin, England? You can.
I'm sure the Chinese want to watch us.
Oh, I'm sure they love us. Well, you have a red tie, so who knows?
I'm in. Well, folks, you can join us if you want by calling in. If you have a comment, you want a question, you have something to say about what we're talking about at 978-957-4243. And you can reach us by that number, but we ask you to please turn your TV down when you do, because there's a slight delay and it'll throw you off and you'll be listening to the TV instead of the TV. So if you do call us, shut down that TV. It's 978-957-4243. But before we get started with the regular agenda tonight, we have in the house our resident weatherman who had a great time at Old Home Day the other day. We sat down with him for a couple minutes if you happen to see our show on Saturday. But let's hear what the 6-day or 7-day forecast is from our resident weatherman from Merrimack Valley. What's it called?
Mill City Weather.
Mill City Weather.
Mill City Weather. Sean Kelly. Take it away, Sean.
Hi, John. Thanks for having me on tonight. And here's a look at the forecast for tonight. A strong to severe thunderstorms will be moving through the region tonight. We do have a 2% chance for a tornado, and that goes up until tonight. Kind of means about a 20% chance. Way up in New Hampshire, though, they have a 5% chance, so more of a 50% chance for any rotating thunderstorms to form for Wednesday night. So we're going to have to watch that and see how that plays out for tonight, of course. And then as we head into Thursday, tomorrow, showers are likely. There is a chance for a few showers later on in the morning hours and into the early afternoon before we start to clear it up, of course. Thursday night, though, we're going to be a chance for a passing shower or two, especially in the early hours. And then I think right after that, we're going to start to clear it up. So again, there is a chance for a few showers here and there, but I don't think it's going to be a washout. Mostly cloudy through the day, though. But again, passing a shower or two possible through the day. And then as we get to Thursday night, of course, after, say, 8 o'clock or so, chances should diminish. We should clear it up nicely as we head into the weekend. And here's a look at your exclusive 8-day forecast. So again, showers Wednesday and Thursday, of course. Friday, there is a slight chance for a few thunderstorms later on in the afternoon. And then as we head into the weekend, it looks nice right now with high temps near 80 degrees on Saturday and Sunday, 82 degrees for high temp. And then we have more 80s for next week. And that's the forecast from everyone. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you very much, Sean. As usual, a great presentation. Always a great guy. He had a lot of fun with him at Old Home Day the other day.
He actually joined the set, too.
He actually came on the set. Gordy
He was right. I was way off on the Patriots, by the way. He was right on. I was off.
He was on, huh?
Yeah.
What was your prediction? I forgot.
I thought they were going to win by 17, the Patriots, but the turnovers killed them. They lost by 1, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, what is it, Mac Jones, as my wife would tell me. I keep telling him Matt Jones.
Yeah, Mac.
She says, no, not Matt, Mac. Because I'm not a Patriots follower. Are you a Patriots follower, Phil?
My wife likes to watch it, so
You acquiesce.
I acquiesce. So by default, I'm a football fan.
How about you, Richard? Are you a football guy?
Well, you know what? I grew up with people in the house screaming at the TV, so that was an automatic shut-off for me.
Oh, there you go. Turn right off. But if Gracie Allen and
Oh, I'm
George
right there.
Burns
I'm the
on
first
your-
one to turn on the TV. Quality television.
All right. You said you have special greetings or a condolence to convey.
Yes, so I have a good friend who's watching the show right now. I'm sure they'd like to remain anonymous, but their grandfather passed away, so I'm thinking for you, I'm praying for you, so we're here for you. I'm here for you.
Great.
Thank you.
And folks, today's a special day for me because 31 years ago today, I took the dive and I got married to this lovely woman, my lovely wife, Kristen, and there she is, and there I am, and we're in front of Trevi Fountain, and 31 years ago today. And I'm very happy to be married to this young lady. She puts up with a lot, believe me. She's not political. She doesn't want to be involved in politics. She cringes when I walk out the door to come to the show, but I appreciate that she does not give me a lot of grief about being here.
Well, happy anniversary, John.
Thank you. 31 years.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much, Chrissy. So let's get right into the meat of the stuff here. We've got a lot to cover before we get to our special guest at 7 o'clock. So the rededication of the War Memorial. Do we have that ready to queue up, Nate? If you can, we'll show that now. We've had a problem with this video.
I think it's cursed, really, I do.
I do.
I think it's cursed.
Will ever be able to fathom the true horrors and nightmares of the Western Front. What we can understand is the ability to keep smiling when everything goes wrong, something our charismatic American troops were greatly known for. So please, for their sake, lighten up, smile. Let today be a joyous occasion, not a somber one. By all means, I encourage you to remember these 164 men, but do it with fondness. Today, we are all doughboys, in spirit, of course. So now, for the moment we've all been waiting for, the unveiling of the monument. Drum roll.
Let this gentleman help. Come on over here and help.
Ta-da! This monument not only represents Dracut's 164 doughboys, it now also represents Dracut's latest show of gratitude for its veterans. I didn't do this. The committee didn't do this. We did it together as a town.
Excellent. Richard. Richard. What did you think of that, Gordy?
Very impressive. Very
it just-
impressive.
What do you
Well,
think, Phil?
first of all, I'm very impressed at all the work that you and
Oh,
the committee have done for that. And that video is just an excellent culmination of all the work.
Thank you.
You know, Richard, I'm going to take a little pat on the back here.
Well, you're on the
for
committee.
sucking you in. I mean, getting you into
Wow.
getting you into DATV and doing this.
It wouldn't have been possible.
You're doing a great job, guy.
I appreciate
You're doing a great
it. Well,
job.
it's because of you guys.
We appreciate
I wouldn't
it. We
be
really
here.
do. We really appreciate it. Good job on Richard. Give him a round of applause for that. But let's get into some of the Dracut politics here. Let's talk a little bit about the Board of Selectmen, because we have a couple of minutes before we have our guests coming in at 7. So the manager the other night announced that there's a huge budget surplus. Did you hear that, Phil? That there's about $10.5 million.
I've heard talk that there seems to be monies that haven't been spent because there hasn't been anything to spend it on.
Yeah.
Essentially, with everything shut down, you weren't spending money.
Now, wasn't there, Richard, supposed to be a shortfall in revenues because of COVID? That everything, that's why we had to go out and get trillions of dollars in federal aid?
It seems awfully peculiar. It really does. I'd like to see what was going on behind the scenes. There's something
but now we
different
have so
going
much
on
money
there.
coming in from the federal government, right?
Yes.
Do we know how much is coming in to this town?
I don't know the exact numbers, but I know the school's getting a little over $8 million.
That much?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And the town's going to give. When I watched the school committee meeting, I believe it was $2.4 million from the town to the schools, and the rest was coming from the grants from the state and the federal government.
It's unbelievable. So their budget I think that money, Phil, is going to be expended over the next 3 years, that $8 million for the schools, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds right.
But also, I believe that the figure that the town is going to get is somewhere between $1.5 to $3 million. And that means they're going to use it on things that are important to the town, related to health issues, I think. Some of the things that I saw on one website recently is that they're going to upgrade, a roof on one of the buildings. I think one of the school buildings, or maybe I'm
Campbell
mistaken.
School?
But
Well,
that's
yeah,
an SBA thing.
Yeah, that's correct. So, the senior center
Okay.
just recently had a roof replacement done.
All right.
So that's all set, but there is HVAC stuff that's going on.
What's that? All right, yeah, he's a little early, but we'll take him now. Okay, we have Emmanuel on the phone who contacted me earlier this today and wanted to talk about parental parental control being taken away across the country. So Emmanuel, you're on the line, right? Hello.
Hey, what's happening, guys?
How are you? That's a
Hey,
good one. What's happening, Dracut? That's why we named it the
Yeah,
show.
no, hey, I just wanted to call and say, you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you so
and
much.
I can actually hear myself talking in the background, the delay.
Did you shut your TV off?
Oh, no, I'm not in front of the TV.
You're not even on the TV and it's
I'm
coming over your
far
phone?
away.
Yeah, because it's in here.
Oh, okay, so it could be a little bit longer, yeah, right. So, tell us what your issue is with regards to the Massachusetts Constitution, that we had that discussion this afternoon online.
Yeah, so basically what's going on here is they're in violation of not only the state constitution, the 1st, 5th, 6th, and 7th, and I recommend everybody go look that up. But they're also in direct violation of the 14th Amendment. And the last case that happened against Baker was the Denali case. I'm sorry, I think I'm not pronouncing that right. But the vaccine mandate for the flu ended up getting dropped because Baker really had no standing under the 14th Amendment. And that was because... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So what do we need to do to try to make it better and try to get parents more involved? You had some sort of an idea of a plan of going down and filing complaints against the particular city and town that does it.
Yeah, the school boards.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, basically, there's plenty of information in this online, and what you got to do is basically go to the clerk's office, file a complaint. When I say the clerk's office, I'm talking about at the courthouse. And once you file the complaint, you're able to file a suit. But, everyone needs to educate themselves first. The remedy to this is in the law. But like you said, parents need to come together, whether it's exchanging emails or just talking to each other, because nobody wants to talk because everyone's afraid of, being prosecuted or, looked at differently or something like that. Because the mainstream and the agenda out here is to make people out here feel bad for their freedoms. So, it's crazy, and people need to learn how to come together, whether it's Facebook, text messaging, anything, school events. But like I said, I think people are afraid of, backlash.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. But Emmanuel, let's try to talk over the next couple of weeks, and we'll try to get you in studio to talk about this issue, and maybe we can get some help for your particular cause and getting as well as the other parents that are doing the same thing. Go ahead, Richard.
Oh, and John, just to say to you, Emmanuel, if you'd like to message me personally on Facebook, it's Richard J. Silvio. I can put you in contact with the Dracut Takes Action Committee in town. We have been protesting the mask mandate, and I'm sure they'd like to take a look at this.
Well, yeah, in regards to the mask mandate, they're also, from my knowledge, in violation of the FDA medical device safety sheets. So basically, under the FDA, if you're going to place a medical device on an employee or a subject to an institution, you have to give them a safety and data sheet, according to the FDA. Now, you guys can confirm that, and we can talk about that later, because I'm telling you, you're having a hard time with that delayed playback going on right now.
Okay, let's do that.
So, I'll tell you what. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, we'll talk to you real soon, okay? Thanks for calling in,
my
Emmanuel.
friend. Hey, guys, thank you so much. What you guys doing is a great cause, and more people need to get involved.
Thank you very much for calling in.
Thank you.
So,
All right, man. You guys take care.
thanks again. So, we were talking about the budget and what have you, and the Dracut budget is like enormous right now. And with the schools being in flux with all this money, all this stuff has to the money has to be spent on stuff that like HVAC and things of that nature, right? So, I mean, I saw something for a handicapped wheelchair lift. Does that have anything to do with COVID?
Oh, I wouldn't think so. I mean, that's an accessibility issue.
I saw something. I saw that listed in on one of our friendly websites recently. Had it as one of the things that the COVID money is being spent for. Now, do I think we need a handicap lift? Yeah, but I don't think it should be spent out of COVID money. And that's what's going to happen if they continue that. What else do you think should be spent out of the COVID money, Gordy? You know where most of it's going to go.
Yeah,
In particularly in the schools.
They're going to be pretty. I think they're going to find a way to spend it somehow.
Yeah.
But again, people were talking about. Some of the parents went to the school committee meeting. We're talking about maybe you could buy some plastic. The plastic sheets that go down
The plexiglass.
between the desks, the plexiglass that goes between the desks, so the kids could not have to wear masks, and you'd have that plexiglass protecting each row within the classes. That I didn't think that was a bad idea. Obviously they're going to have to pay for PPEs and masks and
So
stuff
what-
like that, health related things within the school.
So what at town hall should we spend it on? Phil, what do you think?
Well, you would try to do it on health-related items, HVAC, certainly ventilation, some sort of sanitation devices. If the foggers that they use to help sanitize, maybe, you could purchase a few of those for the town. I'm sure there are some other items that could be, but again, you would want health-related items. Now, Gordy, with the plexiglass, I had read a study that there are some medical professionals that think that is actually detrimental, because what it does is it creates a cocoon, if you want, for this air to get trapped. It creates sometimes what's called an air pillow. And that prevents the air from being ventilated out of the room properly.
Then
So
they
it
would have
just
some kind of
circulates.
fan blowing to
Correct.
keep the air circulating.
Correct. So they're concerned about plexiglass essentially impeding airflow.
Richard?
What concerns me is why is it that this far along in the COVID game are we still receiving funding for COVID-19 in the school system? What are we going to spend the money on? Why don't we give the $8 million to the new COVID nurse that we hired at one of the schools who sits there and fires her fingernails all day? Why don't we give her the entire budget? Like, what do we need this money for? To buy billions and billions of masks? Like, I'm not understanding what the purpose is.
Well, I'm sure we're going to get into that subject quite in depth as time goes on.
Oh, yeah.
But you don't want to ask the question.
Oh, you can't ask the question, because if you ask the question, then you become the devil, right? You become
Bingo.
And you just threw out something that people are not going to be happy about. You said she's, filing her nails.
Well, that's what she does.
I know. So let's talk a little bit about Joe DeRocco and the recently appointed fire chief, which happened last night at the Board of Selectmen meeting. Phil, what did you think of it?
Well, I mean, I suppose on a personal level, I've worked with Chief Patterson when he was fire prevention officer on a number of projects in town. I was treated very professionally by him. So I mean, on a personal level, I have no issues with him.
Right. Let me just say it at the outset that on a personal level, I have no issues with Rich Patterson. I had no issues with Vulgaris or with the other gentleman, Mackey, that was also a candidate. And I had no issues whatsoever with any of them personally. I have an issue with the process. And the process was, again, you took the third person in line. And Gordy, I've heard all kinds of different stories about why that happened. I mean, Vulgaris got a 92 on the test, and the test is an assessment, and there's a bunch of different formulas that they go through and different things that gives them points. And so Vulgaris got 92, Mackey got 93, Vulgaris got 93, Mackey got 90, and Rich Patterson got 70.
Right.
Now, what do you think about that?
Well, I know the town manager spoke about that briefly. When she made the announcement, she said there was an assessment done by an outside firm. They gave them a test based on a lot of different items that they, went through, and she didn't report the scores as they were, but she said it was a very close. She said it was very close, and Chief Patterson got it based on other things outside of that assessment as well. So
yeah, and this is what begs the problem, right? It begs the problem is political. It becomes a political. Now, Rich Patterson's a great guy, and I'm not trying to disparage him in any way, but I think, Phil, you said in the last time we met here that there'll be an asterisk next to his name.
Yeah, I said that about about Chief Patterson.
Yeah.
Because of this type of appointment, there becomes an asterisk after his name. And I said the same thing about Ann. I mean, she was chosen outside of the process that everybody was squarely behind, and all of a sudden she can be the best town manager we ever have. But because of the appointment like that, there's an asterisk after her name.
Well, I got to tell you, I've heard from a lot of people on both sides. The department itself is split. The union itself is split. I mean, Patterson was a big union guy, and supposedly really pushed for Joe DeRocco in the last election. And Joe's a big guy on politics and making political appointments, as we all know. This has happened many, many times since Joe has been on the board. And it's really a shame, because a guy like Rich Patterson, who was ultimately qualified to be the chief, they screwed up on the testing, is what they did. They're not telling you this. But what happened is, there's a piece of the test that you're supposed to list your accomplishments and your educational background, and that goes towards your points. And Patterson allegedly wasn't told about it, and he didn't include it in his overall written exam. So that gave him less than everybody else, because he's got 16 years as a deputy chief. That counts for something.
A bunch of certificates that I know of. Again, the fire prevention officer for Dracut for I don't know how many, a decade or so.
But so here's my thing about it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, for anybody on the panel if you want. If you had the screw up, and I know what the screw up is, and you have to know, the town has to know what the screw up is. If you had known this screw up, why didn't you just say, listen, this isn't fair, it wasn't right, there was a mess up, go out again.
Yeah.
Go out and do it again.
Or at least bring it up and admit to it.
Redo it again. So what Ann did, what Ann Vandal did, was she made the appointment based on pressure from other sources. Oh, you got to make it, he deserves it, No, it doesn't come across that way to the 30,000 people that are sitting in their living room saying there's another political appointment, because that's all I've been hearing out on the street. There's another political appointment. How do you battle that? Now, having served on the Board of Selectmen for 9 years, I know how bad that politics thing can go through the town. And I mean, DeRocco is definitely, there's no love lost between DeRocco and I. None whatsoever. And his cohorts on Lakeview Ave. So for me to sit here and say that it's political, it's more than likely it's political, because his guy got the job. Richard?
What is the point of an interview process if you're not going to go through with it, and you're not going to go through the proper selection? I mean, seriously, was the third-party interview system a game of basketball to see who could play ball the best? Like, I'm not understanding. I'm not understanding. Like, that's the most clearest case of corruption I've seen in this town so far.
Wow, Richard, that's a very good synopsis of that. What do you think, Gordy? Anything? I mean,
well, I'm just used to it now. It's kind of you're just kind of immune to it, I mean, someone outside of Dracut sees this kind of stuff, and they said, how can that happen? But now the way it's going in Dracut, that's par for the course.
That's really the problem. We're gonna get back to this in after our next segment, because I saw that our esteemed guest has arrived, so I don't want to keep him waiting in the wings too long, and he's going to be here for about 30 minutes, and we appreciate that he came in. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask Nate to run that piece on the new kitchen that we have and the new cooking show that DATV will be bringing out very shortly, and then we can get another sneak peek, and we're going to bring our guest, Dan Phelps, in. So we'll be back in about 35 seconds.
So to the answer of your low sodium vegetable stock is you can add salt. Salt helps dry out pull out the moisture from your vegetables and your meats and stuff like that. You just don't have to go overkill. The reason they do is probably for preservative reasons, right? So you're preserving this by putting this in the freezer, and then later when you make your soup, salad, dressing, sauces or anything like that, you can kind of season that final product to your liking, right? So Again, you can add anything to this vegetable stock. Anything. You have a garden, you have a local farmer, you have jalapenos, anything.
Hey, we're back.
Hey, we're back! Look at this! That was so fast! Talk about an open mic. Thank God we didn't say anything anything crazy. So, all right, Phil, I'm gonna, since you reached out and you got this guest for us, you take it away.
Yeah, so we have a new economic development director, planner, I believe the title is. I had reached out to Dan, and we were chatting. He was going to come by my office, and then something happened, and I needed to leave, and I guess he didn't get my message right away because he's walking into my office as I'm trying to run out. But I asked him if he would come on What's Happening Dracut, just kind of talk about economic development within the town, and he agreed, and I'm so grateful. We saw each other at Old Home Day. We chatted a little bit more. Just fantastic to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys asking me to come on.
Yeah. If we want to jump right into some questions, I don't want this to sound offensive, but Dan, why you for economic development?
Why me? Well, I was laid off from the Lowell Sun on July 1st, and someone who lives in Dracut, when they found out that I had been laid off, reached out to me and said, "Hey, listen, the town's looking for an economic development project planner." And I'm like, "Okay." Thanks for letting me know. What's it got to do with me? But he said, I think you'd be perfect for it. It's a lot of marketing, public relations, trying to market the town's businesses better. So I said the more I talked to him, I said, okay, let's. I haven't had a resume done in about 36 years, but I went online, found out how to do a resume, and pretty much said 36 years working at the Lowell Sun. That's pretty much my resume. But I did concurrently while working at the Sun for about almost 25 years. I was doing public relations for Neshoba Valley Technical High School in Westford. So working part-time for them. The hours that I worked at the Sun allowed me to be able to do that. So I did have the marketing, public relations experience from that job. Went in, they had me in for an interview with Ann Vandal and Victor Garofalo, the assistant town manager, and the human resources director, and they hired me.
They liked what they heard.
Well, you know what? They were looking for someone who can take over the website, which I have experience with the website at the Sun. It's not the same, it's still some a learning curve there. But I certainly have experience with the website, with writing, and trying to. One of the big things is the Economic Development Committee has a page on the web on the town's website, and it's kind of stagnant because nobody is there to work on it. It's nobody's job really to update that thing. So they really wanted to liven that up, and they asked me for some ideas. I told them some ways I would do that. They also asked me what I would do for as far as improving the economic development, the business community, basically the town. And I have a lot of contacts from my years at the Sun in Dracut. I know a lot of the business owners, long-time ones, more recent ones. And I said, I'd get out and I would meet with them first of all, get their impressions on what the business community needs. And I'd go out and meet the mom and pops, go out and walk-in businesses, hand them a business card and say, listen, if you have any suggestions, comments about the business climate or whatnot. So that's what I'm doing. I've been out for the first, this is my 6th week, doing a lot of that, doing a lot of just visiting businesses and introducing myself, finding out what their problems are for some of their suggestions, like I said, for new businesses. You mentioned Old Home Day. I put together a little survey, just trying to find out what people would like to see in town, what they'd like for the town to go after, for me to go after, basically. And I got almost 100 responses at that Old Home Day. So and a lot of interesting responses. And I'm gonna start trying to get those businesses.
That's great. So it sounds to me like this is a new position within the town.
Yeah, it's a brand new position. It's all mine.
So they I imagine they didn't say, here's your job duties, here's a sheet for. it sounds like it's kind of...
Well, there is, when they advertised it, there was a list of, a bullet list of, things they wanted. I didn't meet all of them. I'm not a zoning expert, and I told them right up front, I'm not a zoning expert. I can learn that stuff. I can learn, but I'm not, I've covered, in my 36 years before I was an editor, I was a reporter, and I covered zoning meetings, planning board meetings. I know the basics, but I don't, I'm not a zoning expert. And I said, I'll be happy, I'll learn that. But in the meantime, I can get things going. I have ideas for the website to I hate to say jazz it up, but just to make
jazz
it a little more.
I mean, it's
I'd like people to be able to look at it, at least on a weekly basis and see something different. So I have ideas. I'm thinking. I'm planning on instituting a business of the month, where I would, take some pictures, do a little story, take some photos, a photo gallery, and then, put that out on the website, put it out on Facebook. I think you noticed that that we started a Facebook page, Dracut Economic Development, Dracut Econ Dev, I think, if you were searching on
we'll
Facebook.
certainly put a link to it on
Thank you.
our Facebook page to make sure.
Appreciate that. And I've been just putting out, like, on a daily basis, Monday through Friday, the little vignettes about town businesses and stuff. I had one on the farms yesterday. Today I focused on Lazy River. Just a few paragraphs.
Well, I noticed that you put one for Collinsville Crossing.
Yes,
a little while ago.
Not knowing who the architect behind that was. So those are the types of things I want to do to help promote businesses in Dracut and to help attract new business.
So have you concentrated? I mean, you're visiting businesses around. Have you been in one particular district over another in the town?
Not really. I've sort of been trying to. I don't want to go down, say, Lakeview Ave and just I want to sort of space it out a little bit. So I've been to, as you may or may not know, the town is focusing on the Navy Yard district. For they're trying to get grants and stuff to sort of get a plan to. Again, I don't want to disparage the area. There's plenty of great businesses there, but it needs a little maybe update on facades and stuff. Some places
it suffers from benign neglect.
There you go. That intersection of Pleasant and Lakeview is atrocious. I think everyone knows. And there's the idea is to fix that, do a whole new intersection to signalization and passing, turning lanes and stuff.
You get very much into a problem there of what thing comes first.
Right. Well, the intersection. I say that, and it's not going to happen for years. Obviously, I'm finding out that these things take time, but they're studying it. They have state. The NIMCOG is helping. Northern Middlesex County of Governments is.
Did you know that I was one of the counselors on NIMCOG?
No.
Or am? Yes, I'm a Dracut counselor.
Excellent. So they're doing a lot of help with the Economic Development Committee in seeking these grants. And so that's just one of the areas they're focusing on. But no, I'm trying to get all around town and sort of. I've been in the first month. I just sort of was driving around. Just looking, because I've been through Dracut a million times. I grew up in Lowell. I have relatives in Dracut. My father was from Dracut, so I mean, I have a lot of history in Dracut. But it's like going through that intersection, for instance. I might go through that a million times, and you don't really see what's around you because you have to focus on what's on the cars are coming at you and whatnot.
It does, and certainly the Navy Yard. I mean, I can speak personally for it. I live on Peabody Ave. Within the Navy Yard. And I work on Lakeview Ave, just above the Enterprise Bank. And it's such a fantastic area of Dracut. And when you do stop and start looking around, you say, wow, I never knew that we had a florist over here. We had a gym over here. We have there's 6 or 7 restaurants there.
That's what I've been doing, in my new position, is pulling over and looking at some of these places and going, gee, I didn't know there was a Mexican restaurant here, So these are the things I'm getting up to speed with. Like I said, I had a good knowledge of Dracut and a lot of the people in it. So a lot of the business owners, a lot of the residents. So the town was nice enough to give me a chance. And it's a chance. They're taking a chance, I convinced them that I can do it, and I still believe I can do
great.
it.
Richard has a question, I think.
Yeah, so Dan, first of all, I love what you're doing so far. I love how you're focusing, on current Dracut businesses. Granted, you've only been at it for 6 weeks now, but do you have any plan on how to bring new businesses into town?
I do. In fact, without giving away anything that would hurt a business currently, there are a couple buildings that maybe potentially seeking new businesses. So I am working with the owners of those buildings and do have some plans. Do have some people coming in to look at those buildings, and I hope I can be more specific in the near future with these. But like I said, I don't want to hurt a business that's already hurt and maybe closing. But I do have some. I'm optimistic about a couple of these places that are coming in to look.
Well, try to get us a bowling alley if you can.
Maybe I'll come back on another episode.
That'll be good. Let me. I got a question, if you don't mind if I jump in. What is your interaction going to be with the Economic Development Committee that's been formed by the
Yeah,
Board of
well, obviously we meet. I'm a non-voting member,
Okay.
so I'll be meeting with them once a month. I'm in constant contact. I'm in contact a lot with the individual members. I keep them apprised of what I'm doing. For instance, I had that survey. I sent it to all of them. They all approved of the survey. As a matter of fact, if we can give a plug, the survey that we had at Old Home Day was only one page. There's a longer one on the Dracut Economic Development webpage. If people want to, if they didn't take one Saturday, if they want to take a longer one, it's on the website.
What does the survey entail?
It's well, the first question is what kind of businesses would you like to see in general? And I think there's 28 of them listed. And then if you have any other ideas that aren't listed here, and then particular businesses. What particular business would you like to see? So people, answered, for instance, 99. I got a couple of responses. People would like to see a 99.
How about
I'll
getting
work
Teddy
on it.
Panos to move his restaurant?
The
over
funny
to
thing is,
Lokai or something like that, if the Lokai
I've
goes.
heard that. So I don't know if Teddy's watching, but I may be reaching out to Teddy on that. I've heard that from other people, Teddy, if you're listening.
Yeah, so I know there's a very large document called the master plan. I don't know if you had a chance to go over
every word.
those 500 or 600 pages or so. But it's a fairly new document that was put together. I think it was a year and a half ago or a year ago. It really got into a lot of, we would like these types of businesses in there, and there's a lot of data from NEMCOG because they helped us put that together.
And there's a sub plan in there for economic development, and a lot of the stuff. And oddly enough, the number one response to what kind of business you'd like is family entertainment, because Dracut doesn't really have any family. You mentioned bowling
Like a
alley.
bowling alley.
So I'm on it. But that's also something that the type of business that the master plan is going after. There's also a lot of new, there's so many new in-house businesses because of COVID. I guess is probably the main reason. People working from home and they've started their own businesses. So we do want to get more businesses that are friendly to that type of. Maybe cafes or something that are that's friendly to that type of person who's working at home and just wants to get a quick bite to eat or something like that, and doesn't want Wendy's or McDonald's. Nothing wrong with them. But
No, absolutely.
Gordy, you have any?
Yeah, actually. I've been in Dracut for 22 years, and the thing that I find, if people remember, we used to get the white pages delivered to the house, or yellow pages. You
Right.
used to be able to go through a Dracut specific one and look up, like, I want a Chinese. What Chinese restaurants there are. So I like to.
that's interesting. Yeah.
I would like to donate my time if you would like to take me up on it, because I do websites. That's kind of what I do.
Excellent.
I'm an IT guy, so I think what a good idea would be is to create a database of all the businesses in Dracut, and then have it either on your Facebook page or on the town website or what have you, a place where people could go, that the people are in Dracut if they want to stay in town and they're looking for a specific type of business, like someone, a handyman or
Small engine repair.
small engine repair, anything like that, because as you know, Dracut is so spread apart. We're mileage-wise, we're huge.
Oh, yeah.
And you just don't realize, like you guys said, you walk by and you're like, oh my gosh, there's a Mexican restaurant. Or
Yeah.
there's, so if you want to take me up on it, I'd be happy to work with you.
And I may. And it's interesting because the website has a business directory. One of the first things I did after I interviewed, I went on the website, on the economic development website, and I went to business directory, and there was like maybe 20 businesses on there, and I'm like, there's a lot more than 20 businesses in there, I think.
Oh,
Or maybe that's why
absolutely.
they need someone. But no, there's about 600 businesses in town, and nobody, maybe they just haven't marketed that enough. And honestly, sometimes I try to put myself into a business owner's shoes when I'm doing this, and does a business owner have the time to sit down and it probably only takes 5 minutes to get yourself on the business directory, but first of all you got to remember to do it. Oh yeah, I got to do it. Then I'll do that later. First I got to make 10 pizzas or something. So and you forget about it. So I kind of want to help them with that and put them on the directory as long as they say, yeah, I'd love to be on the directory. Well, I can help you out with that. All you got to do is answer these questions quick. And and it's just trying to streamline things a little bit better. But their business directory would be if we could build it up.
Right, make it easy to use.
Right,
So it's,
right.
It's
And
very
it is-
simple. And from a business standpoint, make it a few, just a few
Yep.
fields you have to fill in, hit
Yep.
submit, and you're
And
in.
you can look at it alphabetically, or there's a choice to look at it by type of business.
Right.
But like I said, there's only about 20 to 25 on there, so you don't really get a good
Right.
a good glimpse of what's going on out there. But that's something certainly we can talk about, because I do want to build.
And a
that
lot of
directory.
small businesses can't afford to create a website and
Sure.
and have an online presence.
And that's part of what I want to do, really,
Right.
is market these businesses
Right.
better than, and that's what the town really needs, is someone to market them. And like you said, they don't have the money, some
Right.
of these places. Obviously, some places
But I'd be
do.
happy to donate some of my time to help out with that if you
Appreciate
need
it.
it.
John?
Dan, you mentioned you're looking into different businesses that are worn out, worn down, and need facade.
Your words.
Well, they're worn down.
No, I
and
know.
there's some buildings that need facade work
Yep.
and what have you. I know that there used to be programs in the 70s and 80s through the state government and the federal government that allowed block grants and things of
Mm-hmm.
that nature to lift up those areas and give them a facelift. Have you thought about or looked into talking to the state board
Yeah,
of
that-
economic development?
Exactly, and actually, credit where it's due. Betsy Ware, the community
Yep.
development director, does a lot of that, grant seeking and stuff. That's really her bailiwick. And we are working on trying to get grants, like I said, with NIMCOG's help and other state and federal agencies with the ARPA funding and stuff. So we are working on it. It's I like to tell people, at the Sun, I was used to, in newspaper business, I'm used to instant results. You see a newspaper every day, and it's a little slower in a municipality. And I'm starting to understand that things don't happen like that, but that's fine.
It works
they will
at the pace
happen.
of government.
They will happen. It's just you have to be patient. And but the grant thing, we've had some webinars, some Zoom meetings with the folks who are helping NIMCOG to chase these grants, the funding. So it's in the process.
If you have a question, folks out there in TV land and listening land, and you want to join in the conversation, call us at 978-957-4243, and we can get the question in. If you don't want to come on air, just ask the people in our control room to write the question down, and they'll bring it into us, and we'll ask Dan. Phil?
Yeah, so there was, when we were talking at Old Home Day, I had mentioned that, so people will often say, oh, we're going to get another donut shop and another coffee shop, another pizza. That's all we ever get in Dracut. And I said to you, you have to understand why those are the businesses that come in. And I'm sure that's something you're doing.
Yes.
We have coffee shops because we have a large population that vacates the town to go to work, and they grab their coffee and their donut. And when they come home at night, they're tired and they don't want to cook, so they get a pizza or a sub. So I mean, it's I'm sure that you're starting to find.
Yes,
find that out.
and you know what, my big thing is, I don't care what kind of business wants to come in. If they want to come in and we can find a space for them, I'll take another dozen nail salons and fast food places, if that's coffee places, if that's what wants to come in. Obviously, I'm going to try to diversify that, but I don't think the town would say no as long as these people want to pay their taxes and they think they can make it.
Absolutely. Gordon?
So Dan, we have a couple people commenting on our Facebook page. George Drusilaris would like a Greek restaurant. Sarah Tasson Powling would like hibachi. And then Sarah also had a question. She also said bowling. But her question was, what were some of the most interesting business suggestions that you got from those surveys?
Like specific ones was 99. I got several Starbucks. Speaking of coffee shops, I mean, I think there's 4 Dunkin' Donuts. There's going to be 2 Heavenly Donuts. So why not Starbucks? So I'm going after them. I'll see why not. Why not Dracut? So let's see. I got bowling alley a lot. Like I said, family entertainment was number 1.
This used to be one of the meccas for entertainment. And I didn't grow up here, but I know that people used to tell us how the amusement park.
Yeah, sure.
So there must be something that we could bring in that would be. Bowling seems the most likely.
Yeah,
but what about maybe a trampoline park?
It's on my list.
How about one of those swimming pools that you guys? Yeah,
so years ago, I saw a program, it was in Japan, where they had essentially an indoor beach. It was just a huge building, wide open, and there was essentially a big wave pool in it with the sandy beach and everything, restaurants that lined it. And they found out in Japan that it was busier in the summer because it was more comfortable than being out in the heat than in the winter. So it's interesting. I know we have some large swaths of land in the industrial zone that something like that. That's a very big undertaking.
Well, that's fine. But nothing too big, nothing too small. But and I reiterate that I am, looking into family entertainment options.
Well, John, I know you mentioned Lakeview Park and how the amusement park we used to have. Yeah. But we also used to have with that a ballroom for dancing.
Right.
Now, I'm sure the 30,000 residents of Dracut would love to kick up their shoes every now and then. And that would solve the issue with the high school, because I know that this year specifically with prom, they're having a really hard time figuring out where they're going to do it and what the costs are going to be because of COVID. And if we had a ballroom, not only would that be open to the public, but that would solve that issue as well with prom. I'm sure other towns would also like to, use that service if it's...
Another type of business that got a significant amount of votes was a live entertainment venue. I know Dracut has the boat over on Lakeview, and it has Abreu's, which typically both of those places get live bands and stuff, and some of them are pretty good.
Yeah.
So obviously those are in two disparate parts of the town, and both of them do a great job of what they do. But people obviously want more options for live entertainment. So we're looking.
I mean, certainly I know some as they refer to it as smart growth. In particular to the Navy Yard, I always thought that would be a great entertainment district for restaurants, for live entertainment at night, and then you could have boutique shops and whatnot that would help keep people in there in the afternoon. In the evening.
If they can, one of the big things in the study is walkability, and it doesn't really have that right now. This sidewalk, it's not really a place you see a lot of people walking around. But if they can make it so that it's more walkable, I mean, that's a great place to where you get an ice cream at, you get dinner here, ice cream at Frosty Boy, you go across to the Boulay Park and sort of, sit there and if it can be done and make that more of a walkable area, I think it'd be really beneficial.
Rob Shepard says that he wants to have a second Frobies, maybe on the side. Maybe this. And Rich Silvio Sr. said, "No." Why don't
I'm also saying no. No offense to Frobies, you guys are a great place, but I'm not the biggest fan.
I love Frobies. It's a great place.
I've discovered Frobies right around the corner from it now. So
and
a little too close.
George makes a good comment, and this is something that you probably will have to work on a lot on. And George Drusilaris says that hopefully they can navigate through the boards, because some of our boards are just brutal to
Well,
get through.
I think I've been told by some businesses that that's a problem. I've been told by others that they've made it a lot easier in the last few years. So I'm sort of making my way through that process myself and understanding it better. But if there is a problem, I hope to be able to iron that out. And it's not up to me, but if I can bring these issues to the town, to the proper authorities, and tell them this is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Someone just called in down to the studio, and they asked, they'd like to ask you about how about has the town looked into something like a Target or a Walmart or something like that?
Well, big box retail store is one of the things on, even though I'm pretty sure we're not going to get one of those because those places like to be off a highway and, for better or worse, and I think for better, but I don't live in Dracut, I live in Lowell, but I think for better, there are no major highways going through Dracut. Obviously that hurts when it comes to big box stuff, but I mean, Dracut has a certain character. It's kind of unique in the fact that it doesn't have these major highways. 93 is close by, obviously, but it doesn't go through town. So, yeah, a lot of people said Walmart, Target, but
And I know
it's not going to happen.
one thing I noticed that if you drive through the town, you don't see a lot of gas stations. There is
That's funny because
there's a lot on Lakeview Ave near the high school, and I know there's the mobile station and the one right across from the high school, but like on the east side of Dracut, I can't think of
no, you can't. Well, there's one. Obviously, they're building one almost in Methuen, but I had the same issue. I needed gas, and I left town hall. I said, I'm going to go down Broadway, and my thing said, 40 miles from me or whatever. So I'm driving along. I'm like, there's no gas stations down there.
So that's another problem.
I'm in Methuen, and I get all the way to the circle. And there's a gas station there. So thank God.
Another one that needs a lot of a facelift. But I wanted to tell you that the days of the big box stores, I think, is coming to an end, and I think Jeff Bezos has a lot to do with that.
Yes.
And that I think you're going to see the Targets and the Walmarts. They're going to scale back, and you're going to be able to walk in and feel and touch the item, but you're going to have to go over to a kiosk and order it, and it'll be delivered to your house.
And I'm not sure people really. I mean, they say Walmart because maybe it's going to be more convenient, but I'm not really sure people. You really want Walmart?
Yeah, I know I don't, for one.
I think one of the best stores that we have in Dracut is CardSmart.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a wide selection of gift items and a lot of stuff that you'll just need day to day, and it's quick and convenient.
And in the Navy Yard.
And then in the Navy Yard.
So there was a rumored proposal to put a sports complex out on 110, I believe it was.
113.
113 at one point, and I don't know whether that fell through, but because I think that would be good if it was going to be closer to the golf course, and then you could have looked at, or you still can look at, maybe a small hotel, a boutique type hotel. That could be
one of my favorite subjects.
There you go.
We need a hotel because I think we would be about the only hotel on the north side of the river. And so,
interesting.
Just people in Dracut could certainly utilize it if it's next to the golf course. It's easy access to it. Other entertainment venues could be there, but it's also a quick shot into the North Campus of ULowell. So parents who are visiting their children at ULowell have an easy in, rather than trying to navigate through the city, as you know, is very difficult.
I was sweating a little bit come up here because I was on the School Street Bridge, and I was wondering if I was going to have to give you a call, but no.
So I've always thought that even a hotel as large as 100 rooms could probably work very well in Dracut.
Well,
So what kind of marketing money has the manager allotted to you to use to market in other venues other than yourself just going out, but trying to grab somebody to come into town that's not currently here?
so far we haven't gotten into that. I'm just starting off. I'm trying to just, it's kind of, I hate to say it, baby steps. But I'm just trying to get the social media going. We agreed to talk in a couple of months about further marketing efforts, further PR efforts. After I sort of get my feet wet, so to speak, which I have, and I am still doing. So that's something down the line we'll have to discuss as far as expanding the marketing outreach.
One of our great businesses in town out on 113 is that nanotech. What's the name of the nanotech place out there? That's really technology. I can't remember.
Dakota?
The name. What?
It's not Dakota.
Dakota. Yeah, maybe there's. With the day and age of computers getting even more in our face type of thing, maybe there's some tech company that would like to come out and find a nice big piece of land, 15 acres,
Well,
and build something.
you probably know Dow is building right across from Village Inn a new facility.
Yep.
Whether they're going to leave the other facility is still a question. Whether they're going to keep that and build this new one. So
I also heard
keep an eye
that
on.
Dow has looked at a piece of property down on 110 to buy, and I don't know what they're going to do with that. But did you hear that?
I have not yet.
Yeah.
Just did.
So you just did. So there's another. A lot of people call me with a lot of these things. So I get some stuff before anybody else gets it.
Tell them to call me.
I will tell them. I will refer them to you. But we have a couple of minutes left, Phil. Do you have anything else you want to wrap up?
I think we got over most of the points that I wanted to hit. Certainly, Gordy offered his services. As everybody knows, I'm I'm very wonky on development and planning, and so certainly, anytime I can help out,
Appreciate it.
More than welcome to pick my brain.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So we want to thank you for coming in.
Sure.
We'll like to have you again when you get some real stuff, feet on the ground, get some
When
stuff.
I have some good stuff to report, I'll
Reach out.
be reaching out.
Yeah.
And if, just for the people that watch, for our fans of the show, if you want to reach out and give Dan some suggestions, feel free to hit their website, right?
Yep.
Dracut Economic Development. Just search for Dracut Economic Development on Facebook. The direct link is facebook.com/DracutEconDev.
What about a phone number?
My phone number, I usually give my cell out because I'm on the road a lot, so it's 978-302-5029. Email dphelps@dracutma.gov.
There you go. So we're gonna take a short break here, folks. We got a thing to show that Richard had.
Yeah.
Richard, why don't you set that up for us?
To the school committee one?
Yeah, the school committee.
Yeah,
one.
so,
We'll throw that
like I say, if you saw the preview game, I demonstrated the wrong way to wear a mask, which was shown to us at the school committee meeting the other night. So let's take a little look at that.
Now, before we get into it,
Yes.
I hope everybody in town has a little bit of a sense of humor, because that's what this is all about. This is just a little
Absolutely.
bit of
It's
sense of
not a
humor.
personal attack against anybody. It's just a little fun.
Just a little sense of humor. Let's lighten up a little bit.
Our
Drake.
first game show. Let's go.
Go for it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for everybody's favorite spotting game, Wear That Mask. Our first round challenges you to spot the incorrect wearing of masks at Dracut's school committee meeting. Are you ready? Let's go.
We got a shot over here of Richard.
Am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? I thought watching the school committee meeting, those experts on masks, I thought they would show me to do it correctly, but I guess not. But no, in all reality, folks, we're not trying to start anything with the school committee. I love you guys. You're all great. You all work very hard. We're just poking a little fun.
Yeah. Well, let's get back into the Dracut Board of Selectmen stuff that went on last night. Was it last night? Yeah, last night. I didn't watch it
it was
because,
last night.
I get myself too aggravated when I watch it, so I tend to distract myself to something else. And if there's something that comes up during it, then I pay attention to it. Because most of it is like watching paint dry. But I will say this, as a personal note, with the exception of a couple people on that board, namely Tony Archinsky and Heather, this is the most dysfunctional Board of Selectmen I've ever seen. And I mean, I served 9 years on a Board of on 3 different boards of selectmen that were elected 3 different times, and we had some knockdown, drag-out fights and what have you, but we got some things done. But this board is just so dysfunctional. I mean, all they want to do is pick on people. That's all they want to do. And then they yell at us then they talk about us when we point out their foibles. What do you think, Phil?
Well, as I was watching it, you could see that Joe, Jesse, and Allison are fairly close together.
No
on
kidding.
one side of the table, and then way over there is Tony and Heather.
Yeah.
It's like you couldn't make it more obvious that we don't want to talk with you people.
I mean, you know, we talked about the chief thing, but I mean, Ann's appointment is another one that we know is going to go down in history as one of the worst political type of moves that ever came in the history of
Absolutely, the appointment
The
process
processing.
was awful. Over the past year and a half now,
Yeah.
I've had dealings with her, and she's been great to talk with, very responsive. I really have no issues.
Yeah, I haven't had a lot of input with her or talk with her because I try to stay away from it so that I can be more objective and not feel a connection to it, and that way, because let's face facts, our humanness is that I won't whack Gordy like I might whack Richard.
Wow. Wow, after all the work that I...
But that's just human nature, right? It's just human nature when we do that. But I'm hearing a lot of stories about how Ann goes from 0 to 95 in meetings, pounding on tables and stuff. I might be over dramatizing it because that's what I'm being told. And I mean, it's got to be taken down. I happened to be in a meeting with her, and you were in the same meeting with me, and she kind of took off on me, and I had to turn to her and calm it down a little bit, because she thought I was. Listen, I'm going to ask questions. That's what I do, and I'm going to push back. And if you can't take it, then you shouldn't be in the kitchen trying to cook. As simple as that. Now, tell me. There was something to do about the quorum in the town meeting coming up in November.
Terrible.
So it's supposed to be 250.
Right.
And they reduced it at one time to 150.
Right.
And then they went back to 250.
And now it's 100.
And now they went down to what?
100.
100.
And the reason behind it was, if you remember back, the last town meeting, there wasn't a quorum because they didn't do it. They left it at 250. They didn't lower it down because COVID was we were kind of coming out of it at the last meeting. So, and then I think Tony asked the question, how much did it cost to redo the meeting 2 weeks later? And she said, well, there's a lot of things you have to do. You have to republish all of the charter articles because you have to change the date. You have to get when the police are there, they get a 4-hour minimum, and so it's about $10,000. But the point is do we have a democracy, or is it going to just be the people that work for the town that are already there that are going to vote on all the articles?
Well, that's exactly what it's going to be, isn't it, Phil? Isn't it? I mean, isn't it that the fact that only those people that go to the meetings are the ones that care?
But then again, it is open to everybody. So, I mean, you do have a lot of ennui in the town, if you want, that, it doesn't matter what I do.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I show up or...
Yeah, Richard, you had an issue where you were involved in that mock town meeting, right? And you saw that there were only a few people in the audience. There were only people that cared, and most of them were town employees.
It was sad, exactly. It was sad, and you know what? I really think that by lowering the quorum, you're only, like you said, you're only going to see town employees show up to town meetings, and you're going to see the outcome with the things that they vote on and the way that town policy goes. You're going to see it affect. You're going to see it be affected.
Well, you know what they say about a democracy. You get the government that you deserve.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
that's true. That is true.
Unless somebody's going to be active, then it's not going to work.
They want to tout town meeting as the purest form of government, which is BS, by the way, because it's not the purest form of town government. The purest form of town government is making people responsible to that government. To the people, the government responsible to the people, not the other way around. You shouldn't. The worst words you can ever hear is, "I'm from the government. I'm here to help." Then you're in trouble. Then you're
Ronald
in deep
Reagan,
trouble, right?
That's Reagan.
But Ronald Reagan.
John, we did have a call come in.
Sure.
And I was handed the sheet, so someone is pushing back on you, which is good.
Sure, good. I love
we
it.
like this. We
I
like
love
that
it.
stuff. So they want to know why Deputy Patterson becoming chief is such a big deal. They don't get why you think it's such a big deal, but because they say, isn't it a procedure for a deputy chief to automatically become the chief?
No. The answer to that is no. That's why they do testing. You don't just go up the ladder just because you just because you're who you are. First of all, there's tests given, there's all kinds of different training that you have to have, and then you want the best person to be the chief of your department. You don't want a person that's going to forget a procedure when they come to your house and there's you got a burning house, and that chief is now in charge of the fire there, in charge of the emergency, and then you have that person forgetting a procedure that costs lives or costs you the home. So no, you don't want it to be automatic, because not all the time the second in command is the best.
And sometimes the second command is given that position by the chief, and it could be totally political. You're my best buddy,
right.
so I'm going to put you in that position. We don't know. I'm not saying that happened, but...
Well, I'm saying that happened. I'm saying that absolutely happened here. And as I said before, Rich Patterson's a great guy, deserves it. I mean, listen, he's done his duty. He's done, for 16 years, he's been the deputy chief. I know that there are instances when the police department need him for radio help, because he's an expert in their particular radio field, and he runs to them and helps them. So, I mean, I don't know whether he gets paid or not for it, but the bottom line is he's probably the guy that should have been there, but it should have been more of an open process where you could have, Rich could have been the top guy had he done the test right, or had he done the assessment right. And that's a problem. Yeah. And then it becomes a problem where you have a guy like Joe DeRocco who goes around touting that he's gonna, he's the guy that you need.
And then the other thing is, John, what kind of ticks me off about that process is why are they hiring these outside firms all the time to pick a town manager, to pick the new police chief, to pick the new fire chief, when they don't use, the recommendation comes in and they get a score, and then they just kind of throw it out the window.
That's because they hope that the consultant sees it their way.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, why really, honestly, because this has to cost, it has to cost like $10,000.
So when we were
why bother?
When we were doing the town manager screening, we had the Collins Center who was asking us, that we had hired to do the work. And when I first met the woman who was our consultant, she said, "I want to ask you right up front: is there a shoo-in candidate here? Is there a favorite?" And I said, "To the best of my knowledge, no. Nobody's certainly talked to me about one."
Yeah.
And said, "Okay, let's do the process." Because I think if she would have known that there was a shoo-in, she would have said, "Well, why are we doing this?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just hire her now."
Exactly. That's just the way it is. Richie?
By the town refusing to go back and do the test again correctly, you know what that shows? That the town does not care about their reputation. You know what that shows in the grand scheme of things? That they have zero fear over the people and over the voters, and that's a major problem.
Well, it is. And if you look at DeRocco, and I keep going back to DeRocco because he's the leader.
He's the ringleader of this Town Hall West.
Phil alluded to the 3 chairs being one place and the 2 chairs being the other side on the Board of Selectmen. It is not any more telling than that. You have the chairman of the board, Allison Genest, who ran on the fact that she wanted to quell the political heat in town, and she wanted to be above it all, and she was going to be devoid of any side.
Get on the bus or get under it.
And what did she do?
Get on the bus or get under it.
And she got on the bus. She got on the bus. Here's a person that seconded a motion to put her husband in a board position here at DATV. Seconded the motion. Now, how is that not a conflict of interest? How is that not a conflict of interest?
It's like going to Congress. You're running for office. You say, "Oh, when I get there, I'm going to drain the swamp. I'm going to be the only good guy in there." It doesn't happen. 99% of the time, you play ball, and that's what we're seeing here.
Kind of like Marty Meehan saying that when he ran for Congress, he said that he was going to be, for term limits, and he was going to only
Two terms.
2 terms, and then he was going to get out. That turns around pretty quickly when they see the dineros. Oh, by the way, they go on every talk show there is, Gordy, right? And they start talking about an issue, and then they say, "And that's why I wrote my book."
Yeah, right. Plug the book.
You can get my book on
pick
Amazon.
that up on Amazon. Right? Here's the ISBN number.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next subject. Gordy, they talked about trash yesterday. A lot of people talk about us as being trash, but let's talk about the trash issue.
Yeah, that aggravated me a little bit because I haven't personally on my street, we haven't had problems with the trash pickup. And every once in a while, as you know, we have these new automated trucks that go and they lift the barrel up and they dump it out. Sometimes, a piece of trash falls out. It doesn't make it in the bin, right?
Or it's too light and it flies out.
It flies out, the wind's blowing or whatever. So Joe DeRocco had mentioned that every week he's got trash flying down his street. Well, are you lazy? You can't just go pick up a piece of paper that falls out. I mean, that happens in our neighborhood, and Phil, you see me. My wife and I walk around the neighborhood all the time. If we see a piece of trash or whatever, I'll say, oh, there's some trash there on the way around. I'll grab I'll put a pair of gloves on, I'll pick it up, put it in a bag, and wrap it up and throw it in my trash. I mean, it's not that hard. It's like, do we have to make a phone call? I mean, some of it was right, because people, they missed the whole street. They didn't pick up my trash. Well, that's a problem. But
Well, you know why Joe DeRocco's doing it this week? Because 2 weeks ago, Jesse Forcier was complaining about the trash. So the tag team is on the hunt. There's something going on.
So they brought
with the trash.
They brought the guy in, and he was like, look, the amount of calls that I'm seeing come into me is below industry average. So I know you guys are telling me this is a problem, but from what I'm seeing for the calls that I'm getting, we're below. You guys are we're doing a great job.
So
here.
why are the calls going directly to the town, to the selectmen? Supposedly, that's what Jesse Forcier's problem was the last time, that there's an inordinate amount of time and that Shannon has taken way too many calls on trash. And even Ann backed him up on that and said that.
Well, I don't know. I always thought you called the manager's office. I mean,
right.
The manager handles day-to-day stuff.
They're diverting it to, obviously, to somebody else. Why isn't there a direct line that goes to that?
And they do have, the Trash Republic does have a call center that they could go to, but what they said is the town wants to know when there's issues. Well, why don't you just ask for a report? How many calls? Ask Republic, give me a monthly report.
Right.
Give me a daily or weekly report. How many calls are you
or
getting
ask
from
Shannon.
drinking?
Ask Shannon. Let's have the.
No, but why even?
If there's that many calls, you
Right.
must log them in. Let's see the log
Absolutely,
sheets.
you would have to. Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a FOIA.
Maybe that's why I can't get through to town hall whenever I call. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know.
The line's busy
But
with trash
let's move
calls.
on a little bit there. I wanted to talk briefly about the big rush that's being put on, talking about the MOU between DATV. I'm talking as a producer of a show, not as a member of the board of directors of DATV. I'm talking strictly as a community member and a show that I produce. I want to know what's the big rush. They've been looking at this issue of a contract with DATV or an MOU, which is a memorandum of understanding. There is no money that the town pays us to run pays the DATV for the operation of the shows that you see.
Yeah, so
what's the rush?
Right, they say there's a big rush, but DATV has been providing them local access channel service for 15 plus
16 years, 17 years.
Yeah, so I mean, what's the rush there?
Yeah, well, how about when our attorney said that we would be happy to, in an open meeting, our attorney said to them, we'd be happy to send you a draft document. You know, what was DeRocco's answer?
And Joe admonished her for that.
Yeah, we're not going to take your document.
Right. So,
and
that was 11 months ago.
Yeah.
Because that was in October, I believe.
But that's where you get the aggravation of how it's political retribution. Because Phil, it has nothing to do. This whole business has nothing to do with DATV. It's all about you, me, and Tammy Dristolaris. But what's Jesse Forcier's big deal to put a timetable on it? I mean, they've been working on it for 8 months, and they want DATV to do it in 30 days?
Yeah, and even Attorney Hall has kind of said, well, gee, that's really too short of a time to even try to do something like that.
Oh, let's see. Hey, I understand that there's going to be some movement in the town personnel, town hall. I got an article sent to me from the Newburyport News where can you take a guess on which one of our administrators might be moving on to be the town administrator at Groveland? I did tell you before.
You did tell me, so I'm disqualified.
I'm going to say you're disqualified. So Christine Lindberg, who's our human resources director here in Dracut, she's a finalist for the position. So keep an eye on that, folks. That's coming up, where she's going to be moving on to greener pastures, and I wouldn't doubt that.
Oh, I see another political appointment in Dracut.
Oh yeah, another political appointment on the horizon. Hey, we have somebody over here, John McDonough. He's just texting us, sending us a message here through our Facebook page. He's in Bermuda on a cruise ship.
Wow.
Oh, if you find Amelia Earhart, let us know.
But he was watching us. He's on vacation in
Wow,
Bermuda.
we're viewed internationally.
Yeah, you're right. There we go.
Great to talk. Great to see him. So we're going to move on to the next subject. We have town elections coming up. And who's your prohibitive favorite, Phil, to win that a selectman race?
Tony Archinsky.
You think Tony
I
Archinsky will
think
be a
he's up for re-election. I believe he's planning on running for re-election, and I think he's the top winner.
Okay, and now Gordy, the second position is open because Jesse is fleeing the town. He can't get out of here fast enough, from what I understand. But he's committed to staying at least until he can break Aggies on DATV, and I mean finish out his term. But I don't think he will finish his term. But go ahead. What do you think? Who would be a prohibitive favorite after Tony?
Well, I think it's the town hall west candidate.
Oh, yeah. He won't be a favorite, though, I don't think. I think he's got an uphill battle, but I think he will be a strong candidate because and we're talking about who? Who are we talking about? Do you know who we're talking about?
Are you talking about Matt Sheehan?
Matt Sheehan!
There we go.
Phil, have you ever met a guy that's on more committees and he's an elected position, that's more uncomfortable being in a meeting to get out of there?
So I wouldn't say uncomfortable. I would say disinterested.
Disinterested. Looking at his watch and we just spent 20 minutes talking about this issue. I mean, the guy doesn't really want to be on it. Why is he on these committees? I don't get it.
I don't know. He's afraid that the seats will roll away or something like that. So he's there to make sure that it stays put.
So I'm hearing that Allison Volpe might be getting a little bit of cold feet.
Oh, I hope not. I think she would be a great candidate. Apart from the candidate, I think she would be a great selectman or select woman.
Yeah. The problem is that she's taken some heat over the masking stuff.
Yes.
But and I haven't talked to her about it, so I'm not alluding anything. But I think they're all taking some heat over the masking stuff. But it's stuff that is obviously something that they can repair if they just do the right thing.
Yeah, my advice to her certainly would be talk to these people who are upset. I mean, nothing wins a person over to your not necessarily your thinking, but your side, is that you're willing to listen to them.
If I can chime in, as you guys know, I've attended all of the mask rallies. And it's not anti-mask, by the way. We are pro-parental choice. And the only person who has spoken to us from the school committee is Rebecca Duda. I have nothing against Allison. I think she's a wonderful lady. I've met her multiple times. It's just she is not going to get the support from the parents who are pro-parental choice for masks.
Who's this? I'm sorry?
Allison Volpe.
You don't think she is? Yeah. Well, I'm going to say this. I think that there's a lot more people out there that will support Allison. She's done an overall great job on the school committee, and I think that she would be she's a far better candidate and a far better person who would be more attuned to listening to people than Matt Sheehan.
Oh, I agree 100%.
Matt
She would have my
1,000% in the pocket of whatever you want another Draco
on the bus.
puppet
Yeah, seriously,
on the bus.
seriously.
You want another guy on the bus? You take Matt Sheehan, and there's no way that you'll get my support in any way, shape, or form. Not that he would want it.
And Nick D just says, parents don't vote, so that's she has nothing to worry about.
There you go. So that's right. So now we're going to move on to school news. We talked a little bit earlier about the COVID money, and I understand that the superintendent is going to be coming out with a plan on what he plans to do with that funding, and that's going to be very interesting. But the mask up we talked about.
Gee, you're going through this list breakneck speed. I'm trying to figure out where the hell we are.
We're in segment 3 because we were like, we never have enough time.
No, well, the Dan Phelps was fantastic coming in. I think that was good, informative talk.
Can't believe we got 4 minutes left.
Wow.
Hey, John, can I take 10 seconds to clarify something I said earlier? So about the schools, when I mentioned that we should give the entire funds to the COVID nurse, that is not the high school nurse. It's a nurse at a different school, because the high school nurses, you guys are wonderful. So just because I know someone's going to twist my words as they normally do. So
they always
it's
do.
better to clarify myself now.
So the masking up thing, you noticed that the school committee all had their mask and Rebecca Duda didn't. Mm-hmm. She's not on the bus, by the way.
No.
they're trying to get her under the bus.
They're trying to run her over with the bus.
But the superintendent took his mask off and spoke for about 25 minutes.
And then he had it hanging from his ear for a while.
What is it with that?
I've never understood that particular look, but that's besides.
I don't get that at all.
Well, when it's open like that, it's catching all the
bingo
particulates that are
I'd like to get those people back on about parental rights to talk again and get more extensively into it.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
But I wanted to tell our viewers that Broadside the Boston Broadside Magazine, which is a out of Boston newspaper. It's kind of a conservative newspaper, let's say. They're having a freedom rally at the State House on Sunday, September 26th at 1 p.m. On the steps of the Mass State House. If you want to get together with some like parents and people that are talking about, parental freedoms and losing your freedom to choose whether you should get the vaccine or not. And like I said, we all said this. I think we all are vaccinated here.
Yes, I got my second dose on 9/11.
We're all vaccinated, so we're not anti-vax. We're anti-mandate as far as I'm concerned. So that's going to be happening on the 26th. Interesting thing, we had a thing about, I was handed this thing about gunshot detection devices that have been put in the schools, and they don't work. So I did a little research on it, and I'm going to dig a little bit more, but I'm just throwing that out there. I'm probably going to do a FOIA to see where that is right now. But I wanted to take the liberty to take a minute and talk a little bit about a complaint that was issued, sent to DATV about this show and about this producer. And in the complaint, the useful idiot that wrote the complaint, who lives on Fanning Ave, I'm not even going to give him the dignity of having his name mentioned on our show, because the man is just a total idiot and he's not capable of being able to write this letter that he sent to DATV complaining about this show and copyright infringement. Well, it wouldn't take you but 30 seconds to look it up that copyright infringement is a pretty specific thing. And fair use of other people's work, like Fox, CBS, NBC. We put news clips on here. They're all over the place. They're all over the internet. But this idiot who's carrying the water for a couple of people who want to kill free speech, namely his best friend, Janest, Mr. Brian Janest, who's constantly trying to kill anybody that disagrees with him in any way, shape, or form. What he did to Phil Thibault during the last election is unconscionable, and yet, as a fellow Republican who's should have supported the Republican, because he needed to make sure that the bread that he butters is includes his wife on that bus. So this useful idiot got shot down pretty quickly when the attorneys at DATV and the director here did the research, the legal research, and found that we were not in any kind of violation of any copyright infringements. He's just an idiot that he did that. He wasted people's time, and more importantly, he wasted our resources here because the director had to go to the attorneys to talk to him about it. So what say you? Anything, Phil?
I'll reserve my comments right now.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, John, as I said earlier, in private, if this was a real issue on copyright, he only listed issues from this show. What about free plug for my show? What about my show?
Yeah.
The Richard Silvio program. The entire show is literally me stealing clips off YouTube of old TV shows. So if he didn't cite that, this was obviously an attack against you. And you know what? Here's his case.
Yep. There are a million shows on this station that use other people's work.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't want to disparage the seniors, but the seniors have a lovely show where they have somebody come in and play music. There's copyright of that music, but we still show it because it's fair use.
Right.
So anyways, I wanted to go on a little bit more about that, but maybe more next time. And at this point, thanks for watching.
And when it's Wednesday night and it's 6:30, it's What's Happening Dracut. Good night, Dracut.
Good night.